You contribute to the world by creating things, relationships, art, ideas for a new product, and those things are created at the edge of your knowledge and skills. They are created when you're fully focused, when your mind is right. But what if you struggle focusing? There are a lot of videos out there about focus, but all those videos tell you how to focus in the moment, how to avoid using your phone, etc. They don't tell you how to focus when life hits you. There's noise that prevents you from focusing. And usually there's always something, right? Politics acting up, following your sports for a year, things going well and then tearing your ACL again. Smaller things like going on a long awaited freediving trip and then getting sick. Think about your own life at this point in the video. If there's always something and you let those things play with your state of mind every time, you'll spend a large portion of your life where your happiness is disrupted, you're less focused, and you create less as a consequence. I've realized that in life it's not about chasing your highs to become even higher, but becoming good at making the lows feel less low. Not getting sucked into the why is this not working right now? Why is this happening to me mentality? When something happens, you need to learn how to not let it impact your happiness and learn how to consider anything bad happening to you as noise you manage to block out. But how do you do this? It's simple, but it's not easy. I use comparison, but the good comparison. When I tore my ACL, I thought, hey, at least it's just the ACL, not the ACL, MCL and PCL together. And you can do it with anything. Your car breaks down on the way to your friend's house. Bad situation, right? But it could also be your car breaking down with your dad on the side and you trying to take him to urgent care. And I know that these thought processes or this method is kind of extreme, but it really does help me to still appreciate the status quo when I'm at a low, and I want you to try this out too. Something else I want to show you is, in our society we always compare upwards, never downwards. Those that have it better are more visible. Go to your gym, you see the fit people, you don't see the ones that are sick and bedridden, right? Also, when you advance in life, you tend to move to new comparison groups when you have success. Imagine you make money from your startup. You still were living in your hometown up until that point. Then you move to a bigger city, you move into a street where everyone has a villa and makes a lot of money. Suddenly, you feel pretty small and unsuccessful. You moved to a new comparison group. Same happens to elite students who then go to Harvard and suddenly feel incredibly mediocre. While in the grand scheme of things, they're not, right? Be careful how you use comparison and look outside of your bubble, and you'll see that there's such a high percentage of people who have it worse, and you will see that your lows begin to feel quite a bit less low. Second simple but not easy thing I do is shifting. When politics and world events go crazy, I personally barely read the news and focus on good things happening in my local environment. And you can call that ignorant, right? But I've rarely seen going deep down in the news and posting in social media and checking the news on that website has ever really helped unless you're involved in it yourself. As long as you try to have your own moral compass set right when political world events go down, you are already doing more than many others. And I know this also, looking at your local environment, contradicts my first technique, right? Where I said to look outside of your bubble, now looking inside, focusing on your local environment. This is all about being aware of what's happening, but not letting it overwhelm you emotionally, to shift your mind to where you can have positive impact. When I tore my ACL, I shifted to learning languages, building this course for multi-passionates. When I got sick on that trip, it annoyed me so much that I wouldn't be able to freedive anymore, but I shifted over to taking more time to explore nature in Egypt, looking after cats, editing. But what if you try to shift, but your thoughts just don't let you? Of course, there are levels to how extreme this noise from the outside is. A family member becoming very sick, losing your job, etc. those are times where it is obviously difficult to just block out the noise, and where you also sometimes shouldn't, where it's okay to take time to rebuild yourself. I rather want you to think about how many times you let less extreme noise hinder you from being happy. Injury, your group project not working out, your car breaking down. When something unfortunate comes your way, understand that you sometimes cannot change the situation, but you can change how you perceive the situation. In the end, happiness is just brain chemistry, neurotransmitters being released, meaning that in theory, if someone who lives in a grey cabin in Russia has the ability to perceive their situation as better than the person living in a villa in California for whichever reason, the person in Russia will literally release more neurotransmitters related to happiness and literally, not just theoretically, be happier than the person in the villa that objectively has a better situation. That's why I want to tell you, whatever external things happen to you, you always have the power in your own hands to control how happy you are. And understanding that this power lies in my own hands has given me a lot of peace. And lastly, the third thing I do is remind myself of why I do something, why I go after a goal, why I try to create, who I try to become. And here the question is, how bulletproof are your whys? If you go after something because you want to buy that car, or you try to impress someone other than yourself, or you're just trying to make money, you're kind of fucked. That's not bulletproof. If your why has more substance though, you have this internal wish to help someone, you feel that you can create positive impact, congrats, you have a guiding light. And some of you will sit in your chair right now and say, man, you make this sound easier than it is. Of course I do. Information, what I'm giving you in this video, is not yet knowledge or competence. Techniques like shifting are not something you hear once and you just do it. And they're skills to learn. And the thing is, most people don't even try. They let their whole life be filled with noise and stay miserable. And it's in your hands to learn blocking out that noise and begin creating. Now, would you agree that this video could be stupidly summarized as always see the positive in the negative, but you did need those 9 minutes of elaboration to finally get it?